Every sport that has ever existed has what they call a GOAT, standing for greatest of all time. Lewis Hamilton, Tiger Woods, Shohei Ohtani, or if you're a piece of shit Yankees fan, Derek Jeter. But in UK Robot Combat, the GOAT conversation is probably the shortest and easiest conversation you'll ever have, because it's none other than the beautiful, mercurial, and downright deadly Razer, built by Ian Lewis and Simon Scott. Razer's legacy in UK Robot Combat started in 1998 during the second series of Robot Wars, where they immediately made a name for themselves for their 9-ton crushing beak that looked like it was an alien spaceship. A beautifully built machine that crunched up the armor of any bot unlucky enough to find themselves under their beak. But as quickly as they made an impression on audiences, they were gone. Reliability issues meant that in the arena round against Prime Series 2 shipbot Inquisitor, they froze up, couldn't move, and they were fed to the house robot lions. And that was what initially stopped Razer from being an immediate title contender. Back-to-back reliability issues, which saw them lose to Agrobot in the next series, and most notably getting sliced up by Pussycat in Series 4, leading to Ian Lewis's notorious rant about gentlemen's agreement. But even during those early exits in the main competition, Razer showed that when it worked, it was better than any other bot. And I really do mean any other bot. In Series 3's first World Championship competition, it beat the series champion Chaos 2, which wouldn't be done again in a one-on-one fight until 2 years later in Robot Wars Extreme, and it would blast its way through the rest of the competition to become the so-called World Champion. It would also win that year's pinball competition too. It kept up this run of form outside UK competitions with an iconic win in a Southern Annihilator in which they sent Matilda into a coma. Razer would form a reputation of being the robot that wins everything except for the main competition. This would change come Extreme and Series 5. Adding on to its already star-studded list of accolades, it would win the All-Stars Championship and that series' second World Championship too, before going on an absolute tear in the UK competition. All of the reliability issues were no longer a problem, and Razer went from could be the best robot in the UK to actually being the best robot in the UK. Finally winning a UK Robot Wars title and solidifying its legacy as an all-time great. And the standard of competition rising next year had absolutely no bearing on how well it would do in Series 6, making it all the way to the grand final till we ultimately met with Tornado's scaffolding solution, a strategy only made because Razer was just so good that the only thing that could realistically stop it was a desperation maneuver. And the fact it wasn't a complete whitewash probably accentuates further just how unrelentingly dominant Razer really was. Top that up with another effortless all-star sweep and a European Championship campaign that they could have easily won again if not making the decision to give their semi-final win to Tornado, and Razer showed once again that it was the robot to beat, even despite Tornado collecting most of the important accolades. Their absence in Series 7 and a grief-inducing Series 8 pitting in the first episode of the reboot solidified the end of Razer's competitive tenure in the sport, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. I want to quickly put things into perspective. What makes Razer the UK GOAT doesn't just include its unmatched 41-8 fight record, it is partly due to the fact that it was the best in its field using a weapon type that wasn't the established meta at the time. While Chaos 2 and Hypnodisc would respectively inspire hundreds of machines that would ultimately become better versions of the two, every robot that has been given the label of a Razer clone was nowhere near as good as Razer was, and the only exception to that rule would be BattleBots and KOB's Spectre/Quantum, which would come 2 decades after Razer's debut. It's one thing being the best robot in your country, it's another thing being the best in your country with an uncommon weapon type. And especially if the only robot that has come even close to being a spiritual successor to you wouldn't be built until an entire generation later. You don't have to like Razer. You don't have to find all of its fights entertaining, but you can't deny, under any circumstances, that it is the greatest UK robot of all time. And even after all these years, no machine has ever come close.